What is up, everyone? This is A Beats, and that beautifully crunchy and super aggressive sound that you just heard comes from the Kansas City-based artists who call themselves Conflicts. Formed in late 2010, the four guys that make up the group have so far released one EP, two full-length albums, and have played countless shows around the area, Kansas City, Lawrence, as well as around the country. Conflicts recently self-released their brand new album called The North Slope, which dropped on March 4th. And it has received some solid backing from industry blogs. By far, though, my favorite quote that I have read about their brand new album comes from metalsucks.net, and it goes like this. How filthy is Conflicts, you ask? Picture a mudslide crashing into the gathering of the Juggalos during a storm where crust punks fall from the sky instead of rain. Yeah, that dirty guitar tone is more addictive than everything with which the Juggalos and crust punks have substance abuse problems. If you're a fan of heavier music like I am myself, then I would strongly suggest that you block some time out of your day to sit down and fully absorb the North Slope, as well as Conflict's entire back catalog. Everything they put out is so dope. They recorded this brand new album in partnership with Josh Barber, so if, again, you are familiar with heavy music, you know what that name represents, and that alone should indicate the quality of music that these guys are putting out. And guess what? You all are in luck, because I'm going to be featuring some songs off the North Slope during today's episode. Why are you so good to us? Because that's what I do, guys. I hook you up. And speaking of today's episode, I had the pleasure of sitting down with 3 out of the 4 members in the band to talk about their new album and their history together. But since you can find most of that information online, you'll hear what I really was after was their insight to help me fill in the missing chapters on possible causes of why the local heavier scene may have dropped off for a few years and how it's starting to make a very strong comeback. So here we go. Missing chapters. Chapter 1. All right, so let's do some introductions.
What's up? My name is Nigel Williams.
I'm Johnny.
I'm Luke.
We are Conflicts.
Awesome. So you guys have been a band for 5 years, yeah? Started 2011, a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think 2011. We were all the same dudes in a different band beforehand, and we decided to kind of change our role and kind of grow up a little, and we changed our name and became Conflicts.
Tell me a little bit about the history of how you guys met each other, bands you played in.
Really, we all just kind of played in the same band besides Luke.
Yeah, I played with them quite a bit in other bands, and we were talking earlier about your old band.
Yeah, we've just always played with Luke, and he's always been in bands that we've always been like brother bands with. Yeah. And then eventually we're like, we need Luke in he just has to be in our band. It doesn't make sense that we're separated right now. We need to be together. So
we need to be a whole.
So we all came together, and it was in 2011, right?
It was 2011 when we became Conflicts, but you were in the band sooner. Around
Gangsters of Cap Guns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like 2010 or late 2009 or something.
I think it was 2010.
2010?
Yeah, late 2010.
Yeah.
Forever ago.
It was time has went by fast.
Now we're all old and fat.
We're pretty fat.
So what draws each of you guys to this particular style of music?
The energy, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
Because there's not really a written rule that it's like, oh, you got to do this or do that, even though some people think that. It's not, because it's just about the energy and how you present it. That's what makes it fun for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of passion, I feel like. Not just in heavy music, but in all types of music. But I don't know, I just feel like that's how we can get stuff out, is to be heavy and
the intense. Aggression.
Yeah.
Like John said, the energy about it all, just after a long few weeks of dumb work and getting out and playing and letting it all out with your buddies. That's kind of why we do it, or why I do it, I'm sure.
And you guys just released the Northern Slope, yeah?
Yeah, the North Slope.
The North Slope.
Yep, the North Slope.
How's the reception been so far?
It's been awesome, man. It's been a blast. It was a hard time getting it out. It took a while. We worked really hard, but now it's out, and we couldn't be more happier with the conclusion of it all. People are digging it. We're still digging it. We're having fun playing it.
For sure, yeah.
It's so much fun to play those songs.
Oh yeah.
It's still refreshing.
It
oh yeah.
is.
It's not like playing the same. We played the same songs for freaking years.
Yeah. trying to get this album out.
A solid 3 years of playing the same set, and then we're finally just like, it's like heaven, dude.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's been good. It's a little. I'd say it's a little more aggressive and faster than our older stuff, and a little more passionate and heavier.
We matured more on this album. I think
it represents us better than any of our other albums, for sure.
For shizzle.
We had a full month
for shizzle
in the studio to do it too, and I think that helped. Instead of when you book time, you're like, we got to knock this out because it's so expensive. And,
right.
Well, we like booked out a month, and took our time and we worked with a producer this time, so that helped a lot. Instead of just banging your head against the wall, right. Trying to, what the hell do we do next, you know?
So we got in there, came in the studio every day, and just
they were there every day.
Took the first 2 weeks just banging out ideas and doing a bunch of pre-production and stuff.
Yeah, I think we wrote, 5 or 6 songs in the studio, didn't we?
Yeah. On top of that, locking ourselves in your house, just like, we got to do this.
Let's do this. Where's the Pepsi? Luke, can I have a Pepsi?
Yeah. Can I get some chips?
Yeah. Pepsi and chips.
Dude, that was the diet. That's the studio diet. That's all you need.
And then your mom's pulled pork.
Oh, ooh. Dude, yeah.
Damn. Woo.
I had probably 8 sandwiches one day.
We had a whole crock pot full in the studio, and the crock pot was gone in literally like an hour.
I don't know if you've ever been somewhere and something was so good and you wanted to go back and get more, but you didn't want to be that, and you were like kind of sneaking off and getting more. People were around.
Like everybody.
That was everybody. Yeah. Everyone was trying to hide it. It's like,
everybody's like,
damn, that shit went quick.
Why do you all still have barbecue?
I thought it was a full day's worth of crock potted pulled pork in there. And it was like 2 hours. It was gone.
Well, we're fat. We told you.
There were people just coming in like the freaking dudes. Like the assistant, the pool guy came in, got some pulled pork. Assistant came in, got some. Everybody was.
He was like a stray cat, dude. It was like, you scat.
You smell it. Just get out of here.
So tell me about the message behind the new album.
The message is, I think it's kind of like us trying to find a balance in ourselves of just find a peace within ourselves and just trying to balance that survival and happiness, as our homeboys in the band Kublai Khan would say. That's how I feel. And, you know, it's kind of like a lot of the same message that we've always kind of pushed. And it's just like doing what you want to do, be who you want to be passionate about what you do, be aggressive about what you do, and get it done and make your dreams come true. And it's hard to do that when you're balancing the stresses of life and work and just all kinds of stress that come with being an adult, and you're still trying to balance your dreams and get your goals done at the same time. So that's kind of what the album's about.
It's hard to, like, when you preach something, I guess, in your music, or you say something, and then it's kind of hard to live that way, because like you always tell yourself, like I was talking to you in the car about, you always tell yourself, don't worry about this or work hard for this, and then it's like hard to live by it when it comes, like you can tell somebody else
exactly
what they should do, but when it comes down to you, and I think that is another thing in the album I take from it.
I think the album, you know, it has so many different meanings behind it that we can't put one big purpose on the album. You know, we all have our own personal meanings behind everything in the album because we all wrote the lyrics together. We all put in on everything. So it has several meanings, you know. It might not mean to me what it means to Luke. I'm sure it means the same thing to all of us, but we all collectively have separate little meanings behind it too.
All right, time for some jams. This is the lead single off Conflict's new album, The North Slope. The song is called Heart of Darkness. Turn up. So what is the main message that Conflict stands for? What is the main message you guys try to get out there with your live shows, with your social media presence, just in the world?
I think the same thing, man. Just be who you want to be passionate, and don't give a fuck. That's about, I feel like that's kind of what we've always pushed. And, we've always kind of felt like the underdogs in a couple of, experiences and in music sometimes, and just overcoming and improvising and adapting and making it work and doing you.
It's good to express what you feel with other people that feel the same way that you do.
Exactly. And that's why this band, that's why we've been, I don't know, so tight-knit, I feel like, is because we've all kind of had the experience of being friends, close with each other, and growing up and learning music together, because we're all the same age. We all went through it at the same time. Yeah, and we're all going to shows at the same time and stuff, and it just fits. It just works. Unfortunately, Josh Tandy can't be here right now, but he's just the fourth member of us, and he completes us. It's dope.
Yeah, I hate him. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
We hate him. We hate them, but you gotta love them when they're family. So
exactly.
But
we do hate them.
You just touched on something that was interesting. You guys consider yourselves the underdogs. Tell me a little bit about that and why you consider yourselves the underdogs.
I mean, I feel like we consider ourselves the underdogs just because the music, not in particularly us sometimes, but just the music that we make sometimes ends up being the underdog music, especially in the broader span of music. Like heavier hardcore and heavier metal like this is just, especially when we were starting to play it and stuff, it just always could have been shined on a lot more and never really was shined on that much. And I've always felt like if it was shined on here in Kansas City, then the scene would just be that much better, and there'll be a lot more opportunities and more people coming to shows and stuff like that. So that's kind of part of the reason why we feel like we're the underdogs, but I feel like we've also just felt like underdogs in life, and that's just a thing that we portray in our music too. Like, I felt like an underdog in school when I was the nerdy kid who was the black kid who was listening to metal and stuff like that. Or I'm sure they've had experiences where they felt like the underdog just in those same types of instances, but we just let it out in the music.
It's something I think we're kind of proud of too, because it shaped who we are as people. It's not a bad thing, We work hard for everything we've got, and we can stand behind it.
Exactly.
Do you guys think technology has made getting your type of music, getting the heavier style of music out to people and allowing them to absorb it a lot easier these days than previously? Let's say like streaming music, or even the reach of social media now, how you can just target people and you can just connect with everybody.
I say yes and no, really.
I had a lot of fun on Pure Volume years ago, just like looking up, because it was so much fun just to get on there and look up all these different bands and it's kind of harder to do now,
It is. It's weird because it took off super hard to begin with, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, you got to pay to promote this, you got to pay to do this, and it's like, dude, we're all broke, man. We're all like broke dudes just trying to make it through life. Like, I don't have money to
jam on a Friday.
Exactly. But it's like, it's weird because it's going back to just handing out flyers to people. It's like, hey, dude, come to this show or check this out, or like putting stuff on a board at work. It's like, that's.
I think that has a bigger reach.
Oh yeah,
remember the old handbills that you used to get at every show?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yep, flip it over and it's got a list of every show that's like about to happen in the next few months.
I think that
was
honestly
dope.
had a better reach than
But with that being said, it's like it's a blessing and a burden because it's like you could put something on YouTube and it goes instant and it's just viral, or you can post something on Facebook and 4 people see it. It's
exactly. And I think it had like a big. It kind of just it had a peak and now it's on its downfall. It feels like people like social media started to make it available for everybody who wanted to listen to music like this, but then at a point it was like too easy to get music where it's harder to get people to listen to your music because it's just too easy to get music. I don't know. I can't even explain it, but
because it's just
like
an oversaturation,
Spotify.
man. It's like
you can just when you used to have to, you could get a CD and you were stoked on that CD, the physical CD.
Yeah.
And this was the music. Now the music's just all over. It's hard to
right.
It doesn't. It's hard to explain, but having the physical CD just doesn't. There's no power in that anymore. People are just clicking, listening for 15 seconds, like no. let's see what's over here. It's just hard. People.
I used to buy CDs based off of the artwork or the name of the band.
Right.
And then I was like, I would pay more attention to it because I was like, shit, I just spent $12 on this,
Right.
Not just click and
make sure you like
shove
it
it out
or
the way.
not.
So, and then I think I found a lot of music that way. A lot of music I never would have. Anyone never would have turned me on to.
Right. Dude, the Victory
Samplers?
freaking samplers, yes. Those were my
That one
jams,
broke me on a
man.
few bands.
Oh yeah, dude.
Samplers were awesome.
Yeah.
That one sampler with
Comeback
BT
Kid.
Bam and Comeback Kid
yeah,
and-
dude. Bury Your Dead, all those.
that was
yeah.
that was
That was a good time for music.
damn
It
sure
was.
my favorite sampler.
Yeah.
So tell me about your guys' experience, how you became a part of the scene when you were younger.
This guy right here got me into the scene.
Yeah.
John got me in the scene. He I don't know, he was always just a level higher. He'd be like, "Hey Nigel, check this out." I'm like, "Oh crap, that's damn good."
it's
then-
so heavy.
Yeah, so I was like in high school listening to bands like Slipknot and Mudvayne and stuff. And then John threw some like Acacia Strain at me, 3750 at me, and he's like, "Check this out." I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah. Dude,
Then he's like,
3750
no, it was
changed your life.
it was the Azalea Dying
yeah,
record.
dude. Oh, Frailwords Collapse, man.
Oh, yeah.
That was the one.
And
Transition band.
Then it was at
Right.
3750. Then it was 3750. That was the next level you were at.
Right.
That
And
that
then
helped me
after
get to
that,
the
it was
next
like
level.
Norma Jean.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There was a kid in high school for me. It was my freshman year. And I kind of started to get into the heavier music. And I walk in, it was like the first day. And I had an As LA Dying t-shirt on. And this kid goes, "Hey, do you like hardcore?" And I was like, "What the hell is hardcore?" Like, I didn't know what he was talking about. And he goes, "Oh, you should come to the show with me." So I went home and like begged my parents, "Can I please go?" Because he was an older guy, and they were like on the fence about letting me go.
Yeah.
They're like, "Well, where's it at?" And I was like, "It's at 31st and Gillum." It was the El Torion, and that was like, I think what really sparked it. I went to that
dude,
show.
El Torion, man. That was the spark for everybody.
That's what really
That was, man.
opened my eyes. And then it's like I was going there every week. I spent a lot of my time there.
I spent a
lot
lot
of
of my
your-
time and money there.
Yeah, a lot of your
And you would you go to the shows, and you could get a T-shirt for $10, and you wear it the next day, at school. And I don't know, it was fun. There was like a lot of excitement about, hey, I'm gonna go to a concert,
Mm-hmm. Good times, man. No 29.
And it was kind of cool because not very many people were doing that too, so it kind of felt like a little bit rebellious.
Yeah.
Like, you're going out with your friends to this shitty venue, like nasty, dirty place.
You always
Like,
see these same people at.
yeah, and you made friends there, and it was cool. It was like a different crowd,
Yeah, a little
it was
community.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me a little about that community. Tell me kind of did anything surprise you, or were they just there with open arms to kind of welcome you in? Or what was your experience with that?
It was weird for me because it was like all the metal shows are excellent. It's like metal and heavy shows, I guess you could say, like Embrace the End, Bury Your Dead. All those shows are cool. And then I go to one show that was like a hardcore show, and it was just instantly like, "Nope, you're shut out. Sorry."
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, dude, the hardcore scene did
Man.
not. They were just kind of rude at the time. I don't know. They were like their clique, and that was it. So
Yeah. We I kind of got in. I felt like I was welcomed pretty decently into the scene. Like I didn't know very many people in it, but over time you just learn to know everybody. But
yeah,
I stood to myself for a long time, just kind of in the back, watching the shows, trying to learn what the hell was going on. But eventually, slowly, we started playing shows. We formed a band. And we started playing shows, and that's more how we got, I'd say, connected in with the scene. Was once we actually started playing. That's when people started to really know us in the scene.
I was kind of like Nigel. I just kind of kept to myself and stood in the back and was just in awe of everything. And then, slowly, you start to talk to more people standing outside in line, and whoever's standing by you, slowly talk and get to know people. And it was cool. And then, it was, like I said, my dream was to play El Torion. Like, if I played there, you made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just, and I got to do that. And, at the time, I remember at my grandma's house trying to explain it to my grandmother. She did not understand it
for sure
at
dude.
all, but That's how my experience was. I always wanted to play there.
Yeah.
I like going there. It was a good time.
We never got to play the original. I don't know. Luke, you probably
I played there
did.
one time. It was with Death by Stereo.
Nice.
Yeah, when it was a original.
Yeah. We played there
corner
like
stage.
Yeah.
we
With
played
all the
there
graffiti
after
on
they
the
had
wall.
like remodeled it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was like
Something
they
moved the
reopened
stage
it.
across.
They just made
When
it
they
white.
when they
Made it
painted all the
white.
graffiti, they made it all white. Do you remember?
Yeah, they painted
Okay.
over all of the graffiti, made it white, and they put a stage in the very back. Then there was just that stage for a while. Then they opened up the original stage kind of again, but it was built a little different.
Yeah,
And they
it
had two
like,
stages for a
tiers,
while.
yeah.
And then
Where was that
just shut it
second
all
stage
down.
at? I'm trying to think. You said there
It
was
was
two.
yeah, it was weird because
It's been a long time.
Well, they rebuilt the caddy corner one, but made it like a square and put 2 tiers on it, and then they had one in the very
very back.
Where
And
the,
in
where
the
they
old
used to
El
all have old
Torreon,
merch.
Yeah, the merch
there
was
was like
back
the
there.
merch highway and the
and it's just
highway
stuff.
hallway.
Yeah.
And then where the bathrooms are on the back, it was straight across.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like
okay,
the
I
opposite
remember
side of the
that.
bathrooms. Yeah, they had like, I don't know, remodeled the whole. I think they may have took a wall down or something to
Right,
put
we
it
played
there.
I played there with y'all when we
Yeah.
were in that back.
Yeah.
We played with First Blood
Yeah.
and
That
the
was a
Ghost
fun
Inside.
show.
That was gnarly.
That was fun.
That was a mean show.
You guys remember
That
the
was-
sound guy with his dog?
Yeah. I saw him at Quick Trip the other day. I just wanted to be like, dude. I think his name was Nick, I think. Yeah, but yeah, he always had the dog. I remember. Good times.
The little things that you remember from
Yeah.
that stuff, dude, that's what makes it cool.
Oh yeah.
So do you guys think that the closing of the El Torreon, the closing of the Beaumont, and essentially the closing of all ages venues really took a toll on the scene? Or
So
what are your
bad.
thoughts?
So
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
For sure.
God.
By far, man. You know, El Torreon was like a big deal, and when they reopened El Torreon, it never was the same
Right.
because there was a different person booking there. So it didn't ever have the same feel because it never had the same bands that were coming through. It used to always just, from what I hear, like older bands used to love El Torreon and, know Kansas City for El Torreon and
Right.
just really appreciate that place. And those bands stopped playing there once they reopened
It
because
seemed
then
like
it was
a lot of those bands would come here every month.
Yeah,
yeah.
like Remembering Never.
Yeah.
Oh,
They would
Remember
come-
Never.
I
all
saw
the time.
I saw
Man.
Zayo there probably 6 times. You know, Evergreen Terrace came through all the time.
Yeah.
Remembering
Get us
Never.
started
and
on
Buried
Remembering
Dead. That was
Never.
like the ultimate show for me. I was just like, I was like a little
Was that
kid,
the Under
dude.
the Gun tour? The Ferret Under the Gun tour?
That was the Zale with Remember Never
and Madball.
and Madball.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
go
I
to
think
that
the
show.
Banner
though.
played.
Yeah, I think you're right. I missed it. Me and John
I
missed it.
had all those flyers
I
on
think
my
we
wall.
I think we went skating. I'm for real. I think we went
I
skating.
think we did too because we were stupid.
Yeah, we were stupid. But we saw Remember Never that one time before then, I think.
Yeah, with Bury Your Dead, and it
That was
gnarly.
before that show, wasn't it? It was
I think
before
so.
the Zale. I'm pretty sure it was. I remember
But-
thinking,
Yeah.
we should go to this, but we should go skate.
It was only like $7 to get in, you know? It was like, I saw Edgley dying there for $10, you know, and they're selling out freaking arenas, or they were,
Yep.
but
Well, until he tried to kill his wife.
Yeah, he got all hopped up on steroids.
He had a little road
Had the
rage.
jungle juice, you know.
but I mean, who would have thought that, you know? It's like some of those bands, like I've seen them a foot away from them, you know?
Yeah,
But
crazy.
back to the original topic there. Yeah, dude, it sucks because it's like there's nowhere to play in Kansas City that's like not a basement. And it's like
yeah. After El Torreon closed down, there was a Scion Lab. We
Scion
played there a
Lab
lot.
did good things. for
Scion
Kansas
Lab
City.
was cool because it was like right in the middle of everything to where
Yep.
everybody would
Was
come.
it 18th and
18th and McGee or something.
like
Yeah.
that.
Or yeah,
Right there behind Grinders.
yeah, behind Grinders. But it was a wonder for the scene because the scene I feel like was about to start struggling with the venue.
Yeah.
And then that place came up and it was like
Free.
do it yourself. It was
Yeah.
free. You
It was
just
like, hey,
reserve
just
the date and you
Come
bring
get
the
this
PA.
key and you're good.
Yeah, you get the
Yeah.
key and you do the show. And then they had a little bar. If you wanted a bar, you could rent a little bar in the back.
I
And it
wish
was
that
dope.
place was
That
still
place
around.
was
Me
that
too.
place. That place has so many cool shows, and it kept everybody at them. And then shows were cheap because there was no. It was a free venue.
$3.
$3,
Exactly.
$5, yeah.
But
Then that place
That was
closed and
temporary.
it kind of took a
I think it was
nosedive
a year.
again.
It was open for a year.
Yeah. What else? What was that place that was right by it? the art closet or whatever.
Oh,
the next space.
The next space.
The next space was dope too, but that was just really hard to book. Venues, man, really kind of blew it here in Kansas City.
They're making it struggle.
Right now, I feel like
a struggle for sure.
I don't even really know what we have right now as far as.
If we had a Riot Room venue that was all ages, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
You know.
Does anybody remember when that was called the Hurricane?
Hurricane.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And with that, let's check out the lead song off Conflict's brand new album, The North Slope. This song is called The Wayfarer. So back when the scene was strong, when you were reaching out to other venues to play, was it easier to get a response back, or has it always been challenging? Let's say like Bottleneck, Granada.
I feel like we really didn't work through them for any shows at that point. We were kind of just working through friends. Like friends were putting on shows and asking us to play, and we were putting on shows and asking our friends to play, or we were working with like a couple of promoters that were our friends and stuff. But I honestly think it was probably a little easier. I think everything was a little easier than music, like booking shows, putting on shows, getting people to shows. It was all just a little easier regardless.
And why do you think that's easier? Is it harder now because everyone's so comfortable with technology they don't want to get out, or they need more of a reason?
Oh, yeah, I bet that with a lot of other things. Just...
Yeah. Well, now it's like you have to promote the show almost every day for people to just like come out casually.
Just for them to kind of remember it.
Right.
Or you got to do something that isn't your normal
everyday show.
Thing.
You know,
we try to do that. We would have a grill out. or
make it a
have
grill out
skateboarding
show
session. We've done that.
Yep.
And just like next week,
Yep.
we're doing that hog roast deal.
Yeah, we're doing a hog roast. It's gonna have
It's like a car show,
bike
car show,
yeah,
bike
hog
show,
roast.
and some band
skateboard event. There's gonna be a mechanical bull, and there's gonna be a crap ton of bands.
Is it free? It's free, right?
It's free.
It's absolutely
It's all
free.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, that one's gonna be gnarly.
doing shows like that. We've been feeling like just puts a new spin on the show a little
does.
bit. Makes it more of an event, more than just a list of bands. You know, has a name rather than just a list of bands and a price.
Right.
Which back in the day, the list of bands and a price was like
perfect.
this for us.
It
So
worked.
it's like,
Yeah,
this is it. That's all
It's
we
like
need.
That's all you
had
needed
to
to
get more
do.
personal now to get people to come
Yeah,
out.
it's
you
like
know? You gotta.
literally 300 people show up and you've talked to 300 of those
Yeah.
people. It's like, hey, you need to come to this show.
But the venues, right now we have like there's like a few house venues.
Which
There's
are
a-
cool, but it's like, I don't want my gear to like smell
End
like
up-
dog piss or
It's hard,
something.
it's hard to get my mom to come to a house show of 51st and Forest.
But and then there's like Davies. We've been playing at Davies Uptown a little bit, but it's 18 up, 21 and up sometimes. There's just no real good all ages places. Like we need like we need some Lawrence venues in Kansas City, like Bottleneck, Jackpot. If we had
Just that
one of
Beaumont
those.
back would be gnarly.
If we had the Beaumont, because now there's no mid-sized venue like that anymore.
No,
in
it's either
Kansas City.
you're gonna sell out a 50-person venue, or
Or you're gonna-
or your show's gonna look empty in
You're
this
gonna have-
Granada back
yeah,
here.
you're gonna have 52 people in
And
this
it's really
in
hard.
this 1,500 cap room.
It's hard to get people from Kansas City to drive to Lawrence.
Oh, yeah,
for a
dude.
show. It's
Oh
hard,
yeah, and vice versa.
You know.
Yep.
So
What
if
about
we,
the-
if we sorry,
No, you're
if we
good.
had like you said, if we had the Lawrence venues.
Oh yeah,
perfect.
exactly. If we had just like a Bottleneck in Westport,
That'd
like,
be perfect.
that'd be gnarly. Couldn't imagine.
Are there as many DIY venues now? I know you guys talked about people's basements. But I remember like back in the day, like all the churches, even though a lot of the music there wasn't Christian, like they would just open up and there'd be tons of kids that come
Yeah.
out. Is that still happening?
No.
Not as much,
No.
man. We haven't seen
Lakeland, that was
for-
like the one.
There's
yeah,
Lakeland and Heartland.
Heartland, yeah.
yeah. There was a few.
I think there was some.
What was it? Yahweh. You remember
Yahweh.
Yahweh House?
I remember Yahweh.
Yahweh House.
Is that still? They still do shows there?
I don't know.
I haven't heard any.
I just remember like getting me a couple of coupons for a hot dog and some chips and being happy.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Give me a can of soda.
Playing on that stage that was an inch off the ground.
Oh
it
yeah,
was fantastic.
Blast. We had some good times there.
Dude, I had a lot of fun times with Yahweh. It was cool, dude.
Who was that? Was that Josh Terry who
Got in a
fought
fight.
some dude? Fought the door dude?
Yeah. No, he was like dancing, and then they have all those signs up, you know, like no moshing.
Right.
You know.
Oh
And
yeah.
he was out there moshing, and the guy came up and like choked him. And so
Yeah.
Josh started fighting back, you know.
All these like, you know how there's always like our homies there, but then like 13-year-olds just like
Don't have a
teenagers,
clue, right?
Yeah.
just hanging out, and then Josh Tandy's just there fighting the door guy. And these teenagers just like looking at him. It's pretty
Oh
hilarious.
god, that's when he still
Fighting
looked
at
like
Yahweh.
he looked like he was in
Fighting
one of the
at
Beatles
Yahweh.
at that time.
That's funny.
What effect do you guys think that, because I know that Terry Taylor, right, with Hunt Industries,
Yeah.
he was so instrumental in getting a lot of the heavier bands to come through KC. And it seemed as though once Hunt rolled underneath Mammoth, like a lot of the bigger metal hardcore acts were bypassing Kansas City.
Yeah.
Did you guys
Yeah.
experience that too, or you guys
Well-
think that had a big effect?
I mean, I'm sure it had an effect in some point, but I don't know if it had much of an effect with us. But I know with music in general, because Terry was bringing a lot of pretty gnarly bands through. But we still hit Terry up for shows, and he still puts us on pretty awesome shows.
We played Hammer Ween for him.
Yeah,
that's right,
last
yeah.
year
That was
that was a
gnarly.
blast.
That was awesome. Hopefully we can do it again this year.
Oh yeah, but he did some gnarly shows. But like you said, once it kind of turned into Mammoth, it just seemed like there was less of the medium-sized bands, more only the bigger, heavier bands, and just less heavier bands in general. But I don't know. I still see them booking a lot of metal bands and stuff every once in a while here and there. But you know, they do a lot of stuff in Lawrence and stuff, and our fan base is really a strong Kansas City fan base, so maybe that might have some reason on why we just haven't seen as many shows after that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, shout out to Terry Taylor, because he's done a lot for the
TT
music scene. I think a lot of people don't know.
The homie.
You know, he's done good things. For
And
the
he's extremely talented in everything he does.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and he's such a good guy.
He is
such a nice guy.
And he's got some cool horror shirts.
It's true.
Horror shirts.
He's got a whole
He's got
side
cool
house.
horror
That's
shorts.
like all of his horror shit.
Man, that's gnarly.
So how is your draw at your guys' shows? Do you guys have a pretty consistent draw? Are the fans pretty dedicated?
For the most part,
Yeah.
Yeah, we have good support.
Yeah, we have an awesome support, man. But I think in general, with everybody, generally, I don't know. It's a little harder to get the support, but you still have, your fan base, those people who have been following you for so long. But I think for every band in general, it's just kind of harder to get as many people out to the shows as it once was. But we have a solid draw, man.
Oh yeah, there's people who've been coming and seeing us for years.
Oh yeah,
and they come to every show. But like we played a show a couple of months ago. It was a Sunday night at 1 a.m.
Oh,
You're not going to get.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And it's
that venue is really cool.
It's a super cool. Yeah, we should talk about that place.
Was it Prohibition Hall?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Prohibition Hall.
Yeah.
That's a cool place. I think they might start doing some all ages shows too. So
And it's like, it reminds me just of the Beaumont Club.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah,
Like, it looks identical
It's
inside.
big.
it's got a good
huge.
size to it, and we played there, and the sound system and the people there, it was all really dope. But we just played our album release
Davies.
at Davies Uptown, and it was we had that sold out. So
Twice.
yeah, and so it was. I'd say we got a pretty good fan base.
Oh, absolutely.
We just got so many homies and friends that come out and support and hang out and have drinks and just talk, So it doesn't even always feel like we have a fan base. It's just like everybody, let's all get together and come to our show and hang out.
Just come hang.
Yeah.
We're all friends
So
here.
it's
It's always
Blast.
good to see new faces though too. Get
Yeah, exactly.
people. You see them at 1 and then you don't see them, then they come back and then they slowly start coming and coming. It's
Yeah.
like, all right,
Yeah.
We've been trying to promote our shows as parties. Like, let's just all come have fun. It's not a show. You don't got to stand there and watch. Let's just go. Everybody come. Let's all have
Do your
fun. It's a
thing.
party.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If you want to twerk on someone, do it,
Then
dude.
twerk on someone. Exactly. Just come have some fun. We don't care what you do. We're gonna do what we do. You do what you do, and we'll all have a blast tonight.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that attitude. I feel like has even made it more comfortable for people to just come out and have fun.
That's a very good point, because a lot of people, when they think heavier music, they're going to immediately associate the crowd and the atmosphere to the style, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so when you guys have taken the approach of it's more of a party, let's just come hang out, have you seen people have a more positive perception?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
For sure. Like, if you think about old school, like, oh, this is a metal show, it's like fights all the time.
Right.
But it's like, you come to our shows, and, well, not necessarily just our shows in general, but like anything that we're associated with, it's like, dude, this is just a hang sesh, man. Like, bring your dog. I don't care.
Bring your dog. Throw your dog in the pit.
Yeah.
Throw your dog off the stage. Let's have some fun.
Let your dog stage dive. I don't care. But it's like, no, dude, just come party, have a good time. Like, it's,
We've been trying to get back into just getting people to stage dive.
yeah.
Jump off the stage. Get on the stage. Why not?
Yeah.
Get behind the stage.
There's no guards here, and if there are, step on their heads. Who cares?
yeah, like, let's
But
just
do it
go
with your
nuts.
dog.
Do it with your dog.
I remember one
Exactly.
time we saw Terror at the Altorion, and holy shit, their entire set, they were like, all right, everyone get up. Like, everyone was stage diving, like, every second
Yeah.
of every song.
Dude,
It's
yes.
like, holy Christ.
Oh yeah.
I remember back then, it wasn't so much stage diving as it was just running as far as you can
yeah.
on top of people.
Yeah.
Which
Just a little
was,
bit of head walking.
I mean,
Dude, the
people get
headwalk,
pretty
man.
far.
It's
I
like-
think they were just
4 steps, 5 steps.
Yeah.
What's your record?
The interview's now on you. What's your record for head running?
You got 3 heads? 2, 3. It's like walking on water.
and then just try not to break your wrist.
Or you just get that one where you run on the stage and you go to jump out and there's just no head.
Yeah.
Legs straight down off the stage.
You just hot dog it, dude. You just flop on the ground. There's nothing
Been there,
to do.
done that. Or the classic front flip into You like front flip one or two people and then fall off behind them.
Dude, front flip to fucking straight butthole.
You flip and then they just roll you right back to the stage.
You see that guy who's like, that one guy who's just like, the little dude who just can't get off the stage. Goes out, they push him back.
Just keep pushing it.
Then he just ends up walking off.
Yeah,
the stage.
just outside stage.
Fuck it, I'm done. This is embarrassing.
Good times.
And staying with the topic of stage diving, the next song I'm going to play for you off Conflict's new album, The North Slope, is called Open Arms Bled Out. It's going to get that blood flowing. Here we go. Do you think that the major indies like Trustkill, Solid State's still active, but they're not as active as they used to be? Ferret Records, you mentioned earlier. Face Down is still kind of active. Do you think that the dying or the decrease in releases or attention that those mid-level indies are bringing to the scene, has that had a big effect on getting kids out to local shows, or what are you guys' thoughts on that?
You know, I feel like right now is more of like bands have been kind of handling shit on their own a lot.
I don't even really know.
I don't even
really any
follow
labels
any labels. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to know them all because they would all give out the samples. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, I got the Victory sample, the Ferret sampler, or you would see their banners at like Warped Tour or
just big shows and stuff.
And I don't even know really who's really doing
what.
Like I couldn't tell you who like Sworn In signed to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who's Kubla Khan's on Pros.
They're on.
Don't know anyway.
But it's
Artery
just
recordings.
Yeah,
they're on Artery.
And you like, what's a band you listen to right now? A heavy band.
Oh, Norma Jean.
Well, are they still on
Solid State?
Are they still on Solid State?
Yep.
By the way,
That's their staple.
Yeah.
Solid State.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's another one?
I like Amir.
Who are they signed to?
They were on Victory
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they're still on Victory.
after they got through and like the singer got rid of the entire band.
Right.
Yeah. They're back now though. They got the dude from Glass Cloud.
Joshua Travis. That dude's gnarly.
Oh, the guitar player?
Yeah.
In
So
Amir
he's
now.
in Tony Danza, Glass Cloud, and Amir now?
Yeah, I don't. Is Tony Danza still playing?
It's kind of crazy
I
that
don't
when
know.
you kind of like try to think about like, man, who are they signed to, or
Yeah.
who are they?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because like
Exactly.
Devil Wears Prada, who are they on now? Because they were on Rise for a long time, weren't they?
That's right. Yeah.
And are they still on Rise?
I don't know. It's a good
It's just. I feel like a lot
I
of
think
bands.
your question opened my mind up to that because I was like,
Yeah.
trying to think about it. And I was
Good
like,
point. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of bands. I don't think that's really affected it as much because bands have taken a different approach about getting their stuff out, like just doing it themselves. And there's like a lot more independent, smaller labels. It seems like that are kind of holding bands down, and a lot of bands just with like managers and no label behind them. That's holding them down. And I don't know. It's pretty cool though. That's one cool aspect of music of the scene now is that bands are doing a lot more of their own stuff, booking their own tours, handling their own merch, and just being their own managers. It seems like more than they were back then,
Yeah,
and that's fun. And it's just why not do it?
right.
You can
It
do it all
feels
yourself.
like the label aspect of everything is just kind of dropped down. It's like you get a manager and that's your label now. It's like they'll do this for you or do that, and then you guys do the rest. And it's
hell, you get a booking agent
a booking agent, a
and
manager,
some kind of
whatever.
distribution. If you can get your record out in the stores, you know.
Yeah, our management is just our broad span of homies that support us.
And then our group text.
Yeah,
you guys want to do this?
Group text
coming?
is very important.
What you doing tomorrow? You coming? You said you were coming last week. You coming?
I think that there's some bands that are just doing it themselves that are doing more than what
Yeah.
bands who have management and labels.
Like look at like Kubla Khan was killing it. Just
they worked
killing it.
really, really hard.
And they had no management or label for a really long time, and then finally they got on Artery Recordings. But beforehand, they were killing it for years. Just by themselves, just out there doing it and hustling. And that's what you got to do. You just gotta make it work.
I think that's what labels want to see anyway. They want to see.
Oh
it
yeah,
on the
exactly.
road.
They want
Right.
to see you want it.
They want you pushing your stuff so they can back you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, they want you fully developed so that when you get there, there's no more development.
Right.
You're already
Right.
that tipping
Exactly.
point.
Yeah. If you can't back yourself, how are they going to back you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. But, so we do a lot of our stuff ourselves. We handle we handle everything ourselves essentially. But, and I'd say it's worked pretty well for us right so far. But, we'll always we're keeping it open. We love the idea of management or a label or something like that. If the cards were right and the stars aligned in both of our favors, then hell to the yes. But but for now we're cool. We're holding it down. We're having fun. We're partying.
We still get out there. And
Yeah.
Exactly. Still rocking frickin'
We
roll.
look like a bunch of dads playing
a bunch of
that
dads. Got a gut in the front and a gut in the back. You
It's
know
true.
What I'm saying?
Booty gut, if you will.
Booty
Booty
gut.
gut. Is straight edge still a thing in the scene?
There's
Yeah.
like those few like demoted straight edge kids, but
stragglers just holding on by a thread.
yeah, dude, they're holding on by that hair right there, just like, oh god.
Yeah, we still got some straight edge homies.
But
Shouts out to Jeremiah Todd.
Jeremiah Dad Todd.
yeah,
Jeremiah Dad Todd, the edges of them all.
yeah, but no,
Holding it
I
down.
mean, everybody kind of grew out of that, just as much as them growing out of the music scene. Like, it sucks, but
Yeah.
it's like,
It's like
whatever.
there's those people who really become it, who like have really been living it and really just like embody it in their life, and then those people who just were just doing it to do it, just like
fad.
just like people do, listening to this music just to listen to it for a little while, and then
Right.
a few years later they're just listening to
Hopping on that next train.
they're
man.
just listening to pop and hanging out with their
It splits
Grandparents.
two ways, man. It's like there's still a few straight edge kids, and then there's the indie kids, some metal kids, and then they're literally kids that just hop on trains for fun.
Yep.
That's about the full
Yeah,
circle
and
of
that was-
everything.
and
now.
that's in everything, you know. In all art and all music and everything, there's going to be those people, but there's still those people who are holding it strong and keeping it real to the X. Not I.
What do you guys think? What
But I
about?
never was straight edge.
Yeah, no, I remember. I
never
think we
was
saw
straight
the
edge.
dude from the singer, the blonde singer from Evergreen Terrace. Cause that dude was straight edge.
Yeah.
For a while, and then we saw him. I think one time, last time they came through at the Bottleneck.
Wait,
he was-
did they play with Casey Jones?
Yes.
Dude, I was at
Oh
that
yeah,
show.
I was there. I was
Yeah.
there. We were there together.
Yeah, that was
He was
gnarly.
drinking beers. I was like, dude, you got triple X's. You drinking beers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it
dude,
meant a lot more too, just like in the early 2000s and
Yeah.
probably throughout the 90s and stuff. It all meant a lot more, and then I feel like right around, I don't know, 2007. I don't know when, but right around then it just started becoming more of like people just started to do things just to do them. Like
Yeah.
people just started dressing a certain way just to dress that
Dude,
way.
I remember kids wearing like straight edge hoodies and smoking cigarettes like super
Yeah,
hard.
like dude, what the hell?
They're like, this isn't a drug. Like,
Are you sure?
okay,
And then like 7 years ago, somebody would have snatched their hoodie off.
you're right.
And gave them a
beat
wedgie.
You're getting a
Now,
swirly
now
nerd.
there's just like seven dudes in a circle with their straight edge hoodies, just smoking a bowl, passing it around or
Right.
something like that.
Denver Edge, dude. Remember that? I heard about this thing called Denver Edge. It's the Edge kids in Denver since Leeds legal. Weed is legal.
Leeds Weagle.
So, yeah, they smoke weed and that's it. But they're Denver Edge, and that's a real thing.
That's Denver Edge.
Denver Edge.
It's a real thing. I got told about this. I was
All
like,
right.
wow, you guys are weird.
We're just
Edge
justifying having their tattoo still.
Yeah, I think that had a lot to do with it too. Is like people were hardcore. You know, people used to look up to some of these bands like their freaking like their biggest inspiration.
Right.
And then like you said, 3 years later, those dudes who were preaching those motives to them, they just see him drinking a beer and
Right.
are just like hammered drunk in the same band where you just saw them a few years ago, healthy and clean, and they're just like, don't do these things, and then you see them 3 years later and they got a gut and they're just like, that takes away the meaning behind the straight edge, and then it just sours and kind of floods the meaning behind it.
That's also another thing too, dude. Like with bands and stuff like that kind of hurt was like everything was just a pissing contest of, oh, I can play faster. Like, oh, I'm heavier than you. It's like, dude, we're supposed to be friends here. Like, we're
Yep.
doing this for the same reason.
Yeah, it's
kind
not
of.
a competition.
No,
Exactly.
dude.
Right.
Don't get a big dick.
Just trying to rock.
Yeah, dude. Rock and roll, man.
But
Just do it.
Do you
That-
think that because of social media that's driving the trends, and since the trends are driving a lot quicker, that's what's getting people to, or that's what's changing folks, or getting them out of stuff quicker?
I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see that being a lot
Possible.
of it. Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like, look at it. Look at deathcore, how it just came in on MySpace. Like, Job for a Cowboy got real big, and then it was just like, oh, Chug Fest.
And then
And then MySpace died, and then you get sworn in.
I don't know, man. I just feel like it's just easier. You know, you don't have to live it anymore to mean those things. You can just kind of see it on the internet and see what people are doing and go to the store and look however way you want to look. And there's no problem with doing that, but it's just not. People aren't living it as much. Like,
They don't get the full experience.
yeah,
or
like
something.
people used to be. There's still a ton of people like who were straight edge, and they were straight edge because something powerful that happened in their lives that made them decide not to do that anymore. And at the time, the music, and I think it was a lot of things, like the music helped them push it, and or to push that passion behind staying like that, and or like something like somebody's father OD'd or something like that, and you know, it's just a powerful purpose and meaning behind them being straight edge. When now, you know, people are just like, I think I'll be straight edge. You know, 3 X's, they kind of look cool. I've seen that movie with Vin Diesel. I think I'll be straight edge.
Same way with religion too.
Yeah, you know,
and not just in music, but in life, and just life in general. You know? A lot of people are easily influenced. You know, just on what they see or
Instagram bio, straight edge. That's all you get.
That's a good point, though, because you can fake a lot of that shit online. And since everyone lives online now, I'll be like, yeah, I'm straight edge, and just post everything straight edge, but not really be authentic to it, kind of what you were talking about earlier.
Right.
Exactly. I think that has a lot to do. And there's a lot of people doing that, and then there's a lot of people who are still just living it, and it's just kind of hard to tell them apart.
Right.
So they're still there. People still living and you know, surviving by those same motives and inspirations. Just like there was I know there was a thing where Christian bands were, a lot of the Christian bands weren't Christian. They were just saying they were Christian bands because it helped the music a little bit, helped them, push them a little bit, worked with whatever label they were with. And, you know, they just did it. And then eventually it comes out they weren't Christian. Same thing with straight edge. It's like,
well, that's a good point. They're just using that platform to get
some people just use that platform, and then some people just live it.
Remember Every Man for Himself, that crazy ass super anti-Christian hardcore band turned into a
nuts,
super Christian deathcore band.
Everybody. And then next time I saw them, they were preaching the word to me.
Mosh for Christ.
Hey, are these
All right, it's about that time. This is the last song we're going to be checking out on today's show. It's Taking Off Conflict's new album, The North Slope, out now. Go and check it out. This song is called Transitions. It's my favorite song off the album because it crushes.
Blissful times, collective negative
All right. Do you guys want to do any plugs? Like, where can people find you guys online?
Really, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/weareconflicts. You can find us anywhere you type conflicts in. We are conflicts. Instagram, Google, yell it out
YouTube.
your backyard.
Yeah,
do whatever
dude.
it takes. We'll reply. Do that in the backyard, you'll hear us.
Yeah, for real though.
I don't know. We just
Exactly. We're gonna look like the neighbor from Home Improvement. Like, that's all you're gonna see.
peeking up eyes.
I am Wilson.
Nah,
Just
yeah,
come to a show,
conflicts.
come talk
Come
to
to a
us.
show.
Yeah,
We wanna
dude.
talk to
Support your friends. Support all the awesome bands in Kansas City
Support
and
local
beyond.
Kansas City.
Yeah,
Roanoke.
support local everything. Just have fun with your friends. Like, there's so many bands and people and venues and things to mention that I want to mention, but I can't even mention them all.
That's
so
why they
I can't
need
even
to
say.
get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out of your room, get off your computer, and come hang
Put
out.
your socks on.
Yeah,
all the
wear
way.
some socks.
Pull them up all the way.
Don't put on a pair of Toms.
I'm wearing sandals today.
Luke, you're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to sound tough as nails.
Well, my feet
Sometimes.
are pretty callous. That's pretty tough.
Sometimes you gotta let them breathe. Sometimes you gotta let them breathe.
I'd never let
Nah.
him breathe. No, fuck that.
Just support everything. Like, sometimes I get on the our conflicts Instagram, and I like to go follow like all the just local things, or local people or bands.
I have a hamburger shirt on that's local right now.
He's rocking the Town Topic shirt right now. You know,
Luke's wearing the only serious choice.
the
so
only
it doesn't
serious
matter.
choice right now, Zildjian. But sometimes I get on the
Hit me up,
conflicts
Zildjian.
Instagram page, and I just go like every single picture that I just scroll and like every single one. 'Cause I just want to show that much support. Like, if somebody's posting something, let's just support it. And just go like everything, go comment on everything, go like everything that you see local bands post, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. Go comment, say something nice, share it. Just support. If everybody just supports, and you don't even have to for real go to the show to support, you know, just do what you can to support. And then that's all, you know, anybody can ask. And if everybody does that, then bam, we're the best scene in the motherfucking world.
For sure.
Holla
Scab.
back, player.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep.
All right, cool. Thank you, guys.
No problem. That was fun.
Dude, I farted when I bent over. It smells like Sonic. Get some, you gonna whip?